Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot, and welcome to the latest update of the CSS 737-500 in Flight Simulator 2024. The airplane has just been brought to version 1.9.0 and they've added a lot of features which definitely makes it worth flying her again. So amongst others, we now have custom airline sound packs, we do have company route import from SimBrief, we have custom sunshades added to the aircraft, a Takeoff data card, and a lot of bug fixes as well. So I'd say we are just going to take her out for a little flight on the Lufthansa LH350 from Frankfurt to Bremen, which is a quick 40-minute flight across Germany to explore all the new features of our Boeing 737-500. Now, at this point, I have to add as well that, of course, we are still waiting for the announced price drop that is going to come together with the release of the 737-300 and 400 series, so do keep that one in mind. Okay, now I'd say we are just going to go straight into this, and at this point, thank you very much to CSS for providing me with a review copy of the 737-500. Now, let's just get straight into it. Welcome to the 737. Now, I just like this little old school style cabin over here, but what I like the most is that old school style cockpit over here. Alright, so we do have ground power available, so let's go ahead and start powering our beauty up. Provided that we can actually get it to work. Here we go. What was that other button that I hit? Okay, drive temperature, that's not important. Alright, cool. So the emergency exit lights are going to be armed. Attendant call button is checked, and then we've got our thrust levers, which are all checked. Do note that the first officer automatically turns up his brightness controls in this latest version, as there is a bit of a flight crew simulation going on as well now. Okay, so fire tests are looking good, squib tests are looking good, then we can do the cargo fire test, which is also looking good, and going up to the overhead panel, let's go ahead and test that flight recorder, which is looking fantastic. Clackers 1 and 2 are tested, stall warning, number 1 is tested, and number 2 is tested, and the IRSs 1 and 2 are coming online. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and take a seat in our 737, and then we can start getting ready for today's flight. Now, let's go down into the electronic flight bag and import our SimBrief flight plan. And here it is, Lufthansa 350 from Frankfurt to Bremen in the OFP version number 1. So starting down here, let's get all the way down. NOTAMs, company NOTAMs. Looks like the weather charts are not actually included in this one. They may be a little different, because as you can probably see, we are using a different flight plan version from what we normally use on this channel. Normally, I tend to use the Lufthansa format, but unfortunately, there is a little bug in the airplane that prevents company route import if you're using another format than the default Lido SimBrief format, so a slightly different plan right now, so gotta find a way around in this. So let's start with the airport weather. Frankfurt has lovely weather conditions, Bremen and the forecast is quite okay as well. Prop 30 tempo, clouds, but it's already clear skies and quite the big spread between temperature and dew point, so I don't think that any of these is going to come true any longer. And then our alternate in Hannover has beautiful weather as well already, with a big spread as well, so I'm not expecting any of any low visibility or stuff any longer. Now from here, let's go up a little bit and have a look into our plan. We have the Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, Frankfurt to Bremen, and we have no limitations. Flight level 220 is planned, 43 minutes flight time. We're going to cut that down to 40. And then we can go ahead and they say 4.8 tons of fuel. Let's make it 5 just to be on the safe side here. So we can go over into the ground ops. Then let's go onto the load panel over here. 130. A lot of cargo today. That must be quite the bit of payload cargo that we're carrying here, and not bags. I'm gonna go for an instant loading like this, and then let's go ahead and annoy GSX and request boarding in there as well. Okay, so it is not that warm outside, so let's go ahead and start the APU so that we can get some air conditioning going. So here we go. APU is coming, position light is on, and then let's get started with our stuff. We're going to start with a light test over here, and that's to check that all the bulbs are working, and that's actually simulated. You can nicely see it on switches here. You got a little darker zone in the middle of the switch. That's because you got one light bulb on the left and one light bulb on the right, and they do actually simulate that, which is quite nice. And bulbs can wear out, so if you see half of the switch dark, then it's time for you to actually switch a bulb. Now then, let's go ahead and switch all those brightness selectors on. And one of the things of the 737, you also have to put the panel brightness on, because that's going to bring the clock and the fuel gauges up. Yep, that's a real world 737 thing. I tell you, it's a strange aircraft. Welcome to the wonderful world of Boeing. Then we got the oxygen valve down here that we got to switch on, and we do need that, because otherwise we cannot actually do the oxygen test. So that is a little strange, isn't it? Okay, so that stuff works. Down here we need the panel brightness as well to be able to see our readings, and that's all looking good now. Okay, the APU is available. I am going to keep it on the ground power, but let's go ahead and switch a pack on. Also going to switch the recirc fans on already so that we get some air conditioning going over here. And looking down there, refueling is completed, so let's turn the fasten seatbelt sign on so that our passengers know what to do. Not that they do it, but you know where I'm going with that. And one fuel pump for the APU as well. This is a 737 Classic after all. Okay, so all that stuff is done. Then let's go ahead and get right into our setup. We're in Frankfurt and we're at Alpha 34, which is down here. Copy and paste this. Remember, it's a Classic. We don't have any GPS in this plane. And then we're going from Frankfurt to Bremen, and we can import that company route, which works pretty well, as you can see, provided that the Lido flightplan format is selected. With other formats like the Lufthansa format, it is actually not working at the moment. A little bug that I just found out about earlier and that I reported to the developers. Okay, so runway 07s are in use, and 7 center is currently closed by no jumps, so we are going to use runway 07 right for departure, Maroon 6 Echo, and the arrival is going to be an ILS Zulu approach, runway 27 coming from VRED, so let's select the VRED 27 transition, route, activate, and execute. Okay, for the performance pages, let's see, cost index is 30, reserve fuel 2.3, zero fuel weight is 46.3, and we're cruising in flight level 220. Cruise winds, let's see, 044 at 23, like that, and do we have an eyesight deviation in this? Yeah, -1. Okay, transition altitude 5001, execute, takeoff page, nothing in there, climb page 250 below 10,000. Then let's go ahead and find our departure charts so that we can track our SID. In the meantime, also need a couple taxi charts, please. And we got the airport chart, taxi overview, and we'll also take the parking stands east. And then we're looking for the Maroon 6 Echo Arnav departure. Here it is. Let's open that one up. So that's straight at Delta Fox 140, left turn Delta Fox 146, maximum 210 above 1430. Got 140, 146, 210, 1430. And then we continue via Odaga, Teska, Alidi, Maroon. And we got Odaga, Teska, Alidi, and Maroon. Okay, that's all looking fantastic. Can we enter the cruise ones over here? Yes, we can. So, well, it's 044 at 23 anyway. I'm going to enter that, but we already have that on the main page. Don't have a top of climb in this layout. And that looks bugged. Okay, then we're not going to enter it. Fine. Okay, lastly, Frankfurt and a 25-mile ring for MSA awareness, and that's it. Great, with that our FMC setup is completed. Then let's go ahead and go over the rest of our panel over here. So yaw damper on, that's normal and auto, fuel pumps are coming on. Cross feed, turn it on, then the valve goes bright, then dim. And turn it off again, then the valve goes bright, then off. And finally we got to do a quick light test, like that. Alright, over here everything's good, over here everything's good. Then window heats are coming on, the rest is looking good. Temperatures, what do we have there? 18 degrees, lovely. Okay, the rest down there is looking good. Then let's go ahead and set that cruise level. Looking for flight level 220. Like this, Bremen is pretty much at sea level, ground mode selected, auto mode selected, that's looking fantastic. Okay, wheel well light on, we do have maintenance, so we are going to use the right igniter. Then the flight directors are coming on, the initial climb clearance is 5000 on this departure. Runway heading 068, well 066 to be precise, and courses as well. Okay, this is looking good. Then we don't have the ATIS just yet, so let's just do the rest of it. Weather to weather and turbulence, 5 degrees sub, that's all looking good. We don't have any frequencies just yet. We can turn on the mic selector down there, and we do want data and airports on our nav display and traffic as well, please. Squawk 2000 standby, trims 0, and on your side 1215 is already up, and we can select that lovely stuff down there as well. Okay, data, airport, traffic. Fantastic. With that we are done with our flight deck setup, so what we are going to do next is to grab the ATIS, and then we can prepare ourselves for that departure. So, Navigraph. I think it's that one. Nope, that one. So, departure ATIS 118.73. Let's bring that one up here. (1873), here we go. But for some reason we don't hear anything. Okay. We definitely should right now. Well, 1873 is active, and the COM volumes are active as well. So yeah, we definitely should hear something. And if we don't, that means there is a bug involved. Anything else we can do? Probably not, huh? Currently looking in my vPilot as well, and it tells me a totally strange number. So yeah, not quite sure what we can do about that. Probably can't do anything about it at all. Except for maybe selecting the ATIS on COM1. It's not what we would normally do in the real world, but...
Not variable between 050 and
it looks like COM2 is actually broken.
Time okay. Temperature 8. 2.2. QNH1021 hectopascal.
Oh,
Trend.
no, don't wanna.
No significant changes.
Here we go.
Information echo out.
So ATIS echo.
Frankfurt departure information echo. Met report time 0750. Runways in use 07 right and 18. Aircraft departing runway 07 right. Report to apron, if full length required. Aircraft departing runway 18. Expect possible departure from intersection Mike. Toro 3004. Frankfurt departure information Foxtrot.
Yeah, ATIS
Frankfurt
Foxtrot.
departure information Foxtrot. Met report time 0820. Runways in use 07 right and 18. Aircraft departing runway 07 right. Report to apron, if full length required. Aircraft departing runway 18. Expect possible departure from intersection Mike. Toro 3,454 meters. If unable, advise tower on initial contact. Runway 07 center closed due to work in progress. Transition level 60. Wind 060 degrees 5 knots. Tag OK. Temperature 9er. 2.2. QNH 1021 hectopascal. Trend.
Okay, 1021.
No significant changes. Information Foxtrot out.
So we got that ATIS. Let's get our IFR clearance. Frankfurt Tower, moin, Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, Information Foxtrot, requests IFR clearance to Bremen.
To Romeo Whiskey, Frankfurt Tower, moin, cleared Bremen, Maroon 6, Echo departure, flight plan route, discover sit to altitude 5000 feet, squawk 1000.
Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey is cleared to Bremen via Maroon 6 Echo departure, flight plan route, climb by SID 5000, squawk 1000.
To Romeo Whiskey, read back correct. I'll stay for another 10 minutes.
Danke. Okay, good. ATC is going offline in 10 minutes, that means we better hurry. So 07 right, Maroon 6 Echo, squawk 1000.
Squawk mode Charlie.
And that's it. Okay, lovely. So all the good stuff is in here. Then let's go ahead and make it a quick one. Departure briefing. Departing Frankfurt 07 right, Maroon 6 Echo departure, initial 5 and MSA 4.3. Extra fuel and time is basically 0. No hotspots for our taxi routing. 07 center is closed and the departure has a stop margin that's more than long enough. Engine out sits straight at 25 miles, climbing 5,000 with an MSA of 4.3. We are below the max, actually we're above the max landing weight, but immediate return is possible anyway, and for anything that requires speed, we can just fly traffic pattern and come right back. Okay, I've got nothing special, I've got nothing non-standard. Is there anything from your side? Threats? No? Lovely, then that's our departure briefing completed. Okay, so in that case, let's go ahead with the pre-flight checklist. It's oxygen test at 100%, instrument transfer switches normal, window heat on, pressurization mode selector auto, flight instruments. So, heading 163, altimeter 1021, reading 360. Okay, park and brake, set, engine start levers, cut off, and that's the pre-flight checklist complete. Okay, so far so good. Then let's do our takeoff performance calculation and off we go. So, Frankfurt, 737-500, Abya, 07 center, flaps 5, anti-ice off, bleeds on, MEL no, and 18.5k engines. Yeah, it would be nice if we could just take the standard figures here, but doesn't look like it. So let's remember that ATIS, we got wind 060 at 5.
So 40 Lima, taxi to holding point runway 18 via November 8, November.
Like that, and the temperature was 9 degrees. Okay, that basically looks good. And then we got Takeoff weight of 50.5, that also looks good. Alright. Calculate 100 more just to be safe. So, flex temperature 28, 31, 32, 39. And I think we should have that down here as well. Well, anyway. So we don't need the clearance anymore. Then we have 28 degrees Celsius. And the outside temperature is 9 degrees Celsius. And that gives us takeoff speeds of 31, 32, 39. Like this. Perfect. So, FMC pre-flight is complete. Takeoff data card is written. Too bad that we can't get the meta down there. I mean, I'm actually not 100% sure if we can somehow. If yes, then I didn't find out how yet. Oh, we should definitely do this. Okay, that's all looking good. So let's go ahead for GSX and prepare position for pushback and departure. And the APU bleed is coming on. Alright. So the cabin should be ready by now. Let's go ahead and remove all that ground equipment. So that's under ground ops, doors, remove the GPU, remove the chocks, and close one left. Has GSX fucked something up? Something tells me it hasn't loaded the cargo. Reset position. Just gotta make sure that everything's loaded down here, which it is. Perfect. Okay, good. I think we're definitely good to go up here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we have done the briefing, we've done all that stuff. Yeah, tell you what, let's request pushback and startup.
Servus, Lufthansa, one max stand Alpha 69, I customer Alpha clearance to Dresden, information Foxtrot.
1 Lima X-ray, Frankfurt Tower Low, cleared Dresden, Zulus 4 Delta departure, flight plan route, runway set to altitude 4,000 feet.
And something I forgot earlier, 139 please.
Via Zulu for proper departure, climb
like
4,000 feet, squawk 1,000, Lufthansa, 1 Lima X-ray.
Lima X-ray, Zulus 4 Delta.
Zulus 4 Delta for 1 Lima X-ray.
Feedback correct.
Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, Alpha 34, request push and start.
2 Romeo Whiskey, unfortunately there's company traffic behind you.
Yes, copied. Alright. Nonetheless, let's already do the items. So that, and that. Before start checklist, please. So, flight deck door. Closed and locked. Fuel. That's 2,000... No, sorry, 4,900 kilos, 4 pumps on. So, passenger signs on and auto, windows closed.
Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, 1 space permits, push, start approved, area 4.
Unclear the traffic, push and start approved, area 4, Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey. MCP V2139, heading 066, altitude 5,000, takeoff speeds V1 131, VR 132, V2 139. CDU pre-flight completed, rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0, and taxi and takeoff briefing completed, anti-collision light on, before start checklist complete. Okay, ground from cockpit. So, push and start are approved, area number 4. Oh no, we had to reset GSX, so it's gonna take a minute. And 2 Romeo Whiskey, we just had to reset GSX. It's gonna take a minute. Is the clearance still gonna be valid, or shall we call again?
2 Romeo Whiskey, it's still valid.
Danke. Okay, yeah, so be it, huh? Then we just gotta wait for GSX to get all their act together. It would be so nice if it could, you know, simply do things. What are they doing right now? Nothing connected, nothing happening. I suppose that's a clear case of no questions asked, huh?
Lima.
Well, let's make good use of that time.
Cross runway 07 center into Mike 25.
Liebe Fluggäste, einen wunderschönen guten Tag aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel, im Namen der Deutschen Lufthansa darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord unserer 737-500 auf unserem gemeinsamen Flug nach Bremen willkommen heißen. Flugzeit heute circa 40 Minuten, erwarten einen ruhigen Flug in einer Höhe von 22.000 Fuß, etwa 6.000 Metern. Ja, wir sind dann jetzt auch bald soweit und werden uns dann auf den Weg machen und melden uns dann im Anflug mit dem neuesten Wetter bei Ihnen. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from Flight. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel. In the name of Lufthansa, welcome aboard our 737 on our flight to Bremen. Today's flight time is going to be approximately 40 minutes, expecting a smooth flight. We're just ready for pushback, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and we'll get back to you as soon as we start the approach. Okay, ground, the parking brake is released. You're clear to start the push, area number 4, and we'll commence engine start in sequence 2, then 1.
Yankee 1, Mike 29, holding point runway 07 right, cross Yankee 2.
Now that's an interesting sound. Haven't heard something like that before. So the area behind is clear, that's probably the departing traffic there.
Link 3 onto November 8 now. Well, drinking disregard.
Okay, and we clear the red line. Engine 2 start. Did someone just call him Lufthansa Tower? So, N2?
Cargo 8361, hello, wind 06.
Good pressure.
Runway 07 left, clear to land. 07 left, clear to land. Lufthansa Cargo 8361.
Lufthansa
and 1.
1, hello, attend Alpha 58 information. Foxtrot, request IFA clearance to Dresden.
Satudo 1, clear Dresden, Zulus 4 Delta departure, flight plan route, climb set to altitude 4,000 feet, squawk 1,000.
Lufthansa 221, clear to Dresden, Zulus 4 Delta departure, climb set 4,000 feet, and squawk 1,000.
Okay, ground. Good start in engine 2, starting engine 1. Clear 1.
402, I'm sorry we missed Yankee 1, can you take?
Engine 1 start.
So
And pushback
Mike 29er.
completed, set brakes. Why can I not set that parking brake? I am applying maximum brakes here. What's going on?
Lufthansa 4 Lima Lima, switch advisory.
Here we go, parking brake set. Okay, so we're at max motoring, that's good. And 2, oil pressure, and 1, and here comes the fuel.
Lufthansa 402, wind 06 degrees 5 knots, runway 07 right, clear for takeoff.
Start a cutout, monitor 1.
07 right, left takeoff.
Oh, 1 stable. No, that's not the switch I've been looking for. Neither is this one. Those click spots are a little hard to reach. That's the one. Okay, so there's a lifting tuck, there's a ramp agent with a tow bar, flaps 5. And flight control track. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. Rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. So, why is the plane rolling? No, don't roll. So, before taxi checklist, generators on. Pitot heat on, anti-ice off. Isolation valve, auto, engine start switches, continuous, recall, checked, auto brake, RTO, engine start levers, idle detent, flight controls, checked, ground equipment clear, before taxi checklist complete.
758, Cindy 8 Sierra departure, runway 18, squawk is 1213.
So a couple things here.
Runway 18,
Clean speed is plus 70, so 199.
Feedback right.
Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, request taxi.
Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, taxi via November 7, link 3, November 8, Lima 17, cross runway 07, center, straight ahead into Mike 25, holding point 07 right.
Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, taxi via November 7, link 3, November 8, Lima 17, Mike 25, and crossing 07 center approved.
So 894, line up runway 07
Okay,
right.
good. So, what else do we need?
Lufthansa Cargo 8361, taxi St. Foxtrot 216
That one.
via Papa November 11,
That one.
November 13.
That one.
216 via Papa November
And that one.
and November
Okay,
13.
good. So we're clear on the left side, and we're clear on the right side.
Yankee, wind 1, correction 060 degrees, 5 knots, runway 18, cleared for takeoff.
Brakes off. Config is checked. So we're on November 7, link 3 straight ahead into November 8, left turn. And then from there all the way to Lima 17, and crossing 07 center is already approved.
Pushing that approved, ASM, Lufthansa Volume 3.
Lufthansa 402, switch advisory.
Advisory Lufthansa 402, thank you, ciao.
And Lufthansa 894, wind 060 degrees, 5 knots, runway 07 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 07 right, Lufthansa 894.
Lufthansa 9 Hotel India, Fox 234 with PPDLC, this is pushing start.
Lufthansa 9 Delta.
So link 3 straight ahead, that's what it says on the sign over there as well.
Push and start. Just verify your position for me.
Foxtrot 234, Lufthansa 9 Hotel India.
Over there, Lufthansa 9 Hotel India, push and start, approved, face west.
Push and start approved.
Okay, the right side is clear, and the left side is all clear. Interesting, initially the plane started rolling really fast, now it stops out at 7 knots. So left side is clear.
Three Yankee, switch advisory. Left side 904, switch advisory.
Advisory Lufthansa 894, danke, tschüss.
So the left side is clear and the right side is clear. We stay on November 8, which is a slight right-hand turn onto Lima.
Ocean 39, unfortunately I have to go now. All stations, Frankfurt Tower is closing.
Again, it's always the same.
Actually, hold on a second, maybe I just found another controller who can take over.
Okay, nice. I was about to say, it's kind of always happening. Once we're taxiing out, whenever I'm recording something at VATSIM these days, once we're taxing out, they're closing.
Ocean 39, you're cleared to Luton via Oboka.
Yeah, but that sounds good, he seems to have found someone else. Okay, the left and the right side are clear, then we turn right on a Lima, and then a Lima 17, and we're already cleared across 07 center, which is a construction site at the moment.
Oboka 2 Lima departure, initial climb clearance 5000, squawk 2547.
Correct.
Okay, we shouldn't exceed 40% N1, so let's just about keep that thrust there. Here we go. Okay, let's review the takeoff briefing. Left seat takeoff, runway 07 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, speeds 31, 32, 39, and that's set. And the sit is straight ahead left turn out, probably on Unicom, initial climb of 5000. And we got one threat for the departure, that's the high terrain in the north, which is exactly what we're flying towards. Also, we are flying directly over the city of Frankfurt, So especially in case of an engine failure or anything where we lose performance, we'll be engine out sit minded and not standard sit minded, just to avoid flying into any of that stuff. Okay,
pushback want to crash in the middle of the pushback.
That's pretty much it.
So 1 Lima X-ray, do you need full length?
Any questions there?
Negative 1 Lima X-ray.
No.
1 Lima
Okay.
X-ray, very good. Taxi via November 8.
Do we actually need that? Probably not, huh?
7, cross runway
No.
07,
Before takeoff
center,
checklist, flaps,
to Mike
5, green light. Before takeoff checklist, complete.
107 right by November 8.
So in Lima 17 we cleared across, that's over there. So let's have a quick look at the taxi chart. So Lima 17, Mike 25, okay, that's simply straight ahead. And that's completely fine with me.
So 357, hello, push and start approved, face west.
It still seems to me that the 735 needs a little bit too much thrust for taxi there. I mean, it's a 737. You normally add a little bit of thrust to get moving, but once you are moving, go back to idle, and it should slowly decelerate.
39, so Boca 2 Echo, runway 07
Okay,
right.
so, confirm cleared across 07 center. Affirm, cleared across.
07 right, Boca 2 Lima Ocean, 39er.
So, strobes are on, even though the runway is closed. And we'll clear left and clear right.
Lufthansa 438, switch advisory. Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, wind 06, correction 07, 0 degree 6 knots, runway 07 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 07 right, clear for takeoff. Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey.
Lufthansa 9 Hotel India, request taxi.
The 9 Hotel India, taxi heading point 18 via November 17.
So, weather comes on, and you can have the terrain. Strobes are on anyway. Here we go. And the cabin is secure. Good, before takeoff checklist complete. There's Mike 25 right up here, which is where he cleared us to. And confirm readback. 07 right, cleared for takeoff. Left side is clear, right side is clear.
Ocean 39 to Frankfurt Tower, apologies, but there's no Boca 2 Lima departure. We have Boca 2 Echo for runway 07 right. Is it possible we take that departure instead?
39 FM, it's a Boca 2 Echo.
Apologies, Boca 2 Echo, thank you, Ocean 39.
Come on, get around the turn. Ready? So, timing and takeoff. Stabilized. Where's the click spot? It's been somewhere there, doesn't matter. Let's use the real one. Take off. Cross set.
Clear for takeoff, runway 18, Lufthansa 9 Hotel India.
80 knots, checked. I forgot we have a first officer now since this update. Gear up. Okay, Wiener. 120-155, Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, see ya.
Lufthansa 1 Lima X-ray via Lima 17, cross runway 07 heads out on the other side.
So, flaps up, There should be a 210 restriction here. Why is the speed target going higher than that? Level change.
Turn left 040, 298.
Long radar, moin, Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey 3700, climbing 5000.
Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey, Langen, guten Morgen. Climb by SID to flight level 130.
Climbing by SID, flight level 130, Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey. Command A. And we're past the turn, so let's go back to VNAV. Here we go. And 250 is the new target. Set standard.
Lufthansa 298 for the public, let's go to one left.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. And cabin crew is released. Alright, after takeoff checklist, engine bleeds on, packs, auto, landing gear up and off, and flaps out and alight after takeoff checklist complete. Okay, nice. So we're up and on the way. Let's go ahead and turn that range out a bit. That's looking good, isn't it? 4,000 feet a minute, lovely. Thrust is set properly down here. Oh, talk about thrust. Looked like I can't move my physical thrust levers, otherwise it's overriding auto thrust. So the elapsed timer is running, then we don't need our custom timer any longer. That's fantastic. Altimeters. Passing 100, climbing 130, 10 checks.
Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey, contact Langen 135.310, tschüss.
135, 310, Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey, tschüssi. Langradar, moin, Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey, passing 112, climbing 130.
Tour Romeo Whiskey, Lang, wunderschönen guten Morgen, identified, climb flight level 220.
Climbing flight level 220, Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey. Set, 220 checked, and that thing is set once, twice, and 3 times. So we don't need that taxi clearance down there any longer. Alright, so target speed 286. Why is it not flying 286 then? Why is it going slower than that? Ah, because it's for the cruise. Okay. Climb speed 269, and it is flying that. Okay, perfect. So then, 10 checks. Fuel balanced and 4 pumps on. Lights. Off, APU off, air conditioner and pressurization. We're now at 5.4 climbing and set. What's the temperature? 40. That's set to something rather cold already. Welcome to the 737. Give me all cool. Looks like we have to fight it a bit. Okay, and set, fasten belts.
2 Charlie Alpha, contact radar.
Auto, recall, checked, and monitoring 1 to 1.5. And looking into vPilot, it's actually working now. Interesting. No idea why it didn't work for the Asus on the ground. Let's actually see if we can monitor it now. Yeah.
1,500 feet per minute or greater, monitor advisory 122.8, ciao.
Okay, yeah. No idea why it didn't work on the ground then. Now it's working. I guess that falls into the no comment category. Lufthansa Tour Romeo Whiskey 220 is fine. We could have gone on maybe 240 or something, but you know, such a short flight. When SimBrief says that we are climbing level 220, then we are climbing on flight level 220.
Out of 150, proceed direct.
So, let's ask the important question. ETA 0829, the schedule is 0830. Can we make up any of that by flying a bit faster? Probably. Let's see what it's gonna cost us. Let's make that 310.
Absolutely.
Fuel is unchanged. Perfect. And for the descent, 0.72/300. That should probably get ourselves another minute here. No, pretty much unchanged. Well, that's fine with me though.
424, right of descent, 1,500 feet per
Okay,
minute.
Wiener path.
Proceed
Can we just go to VS for a second here?
641.
Yeah. Vertical speed, 1,000 to go. And the speed target can already go all the way up to 310.
Yeah, 424 not quite. Proceed left turn, direct Delta Foxtrot 641.
Okay,
And,
I'll acquire.
If you descend with 1,500 feet per minute.
Nah. You keep accelerating. That must have been strange for the passengers. In the real world, once you are in Alt Acquire, for the cruise level you can go back to VNAV, and then it's actually already going to target the cruise speed. Or at least that's what the NG does, so I'm fairly sure the Classic would probably do the same.
Hotel India geht auch schon wieder runter, descent flight level 100.
Oh, look at that. That's strange. It says active 310 knots cruise. But looking at this, not going to the cruise speed. Okay, that's got to be a bug. Let's do it manually. So MCP speed Alt hold. Which is interesting because it does say it's an active 310 knots cruise. So obviously the VNAV target speed should have been 310 knots. Well, there's got to be a bug involved somewhere there. But okay, so be it. So be it. Well then, up in cruise, let's go ahead and do a couple of checks here. So back to SimBrief. Top of climb, 9 minutes, 3.5 tons. We took 9 minutes, and we got 4.4. We did load like 300 extra, so we have saved an overall 700 kilos. That's quite a lot.
Good morning, identified climb flight
And you should be on weather over there.
5 Delta arrival.
Good. Okay, yeah, so be it. Oh, you stay alive for me for now. So, we just crossed Aliri, Maroon in 4 miles. Let's do another check there. 11 minutes, 3.4. So, 11 minutes, yeah, we will have taken 10, and the fuel is looking good. 3.2 now in Bremen. Well, I'm not gonna say no to that. Here we go, passing Maroon 10 minutes, so 1 minute ahead of schedule. That is looking good. Okay then, let's see if we can already find some weather. So request that please.
I don't know which runway you will get. It will be assigned by the next controller.
Okay. So there's our weather, and look at that. That's how you get the meta down here, it seems. Now, can you switch this to a landing data card? That'd be nice. Because takeoff is one thing. Of course, landing is another. But okay, so be it. So for now, it's 340 at 6, so that slightly favors runway 07. With the variable winds there, it could literally be both. So can't really decide on that just yet, but hey, so be it. Okay, doesn't really matter all too much, so let's just go ahead and plan for runway. Well, we are arriving from the east, so let's actually plan 09. Might be with a little bit of tailwind, but if that saves us a minute or two of flight time, then why not? So arrival ILS Zulu 09, and for the book we're going to take... Yeah, looks like we have two.
425, 45 flight over 100, and proceed direct waypoint 441.
So let's move to Bremen, approach.
Direct to Delta Falcon 112.
Yeah, that's from 441.
ILS Zulu... Actually, I'm doing nonsense here. It's supposed to be 27. That is the straight in arrival. Erase that, please. Let's have a look at what we got in the box right now.
Lufthansa 9 Hotel India, request further descent.
Hotel India, descent flight level 70.
Descent flight level 70, Lufthansa.
Yeah, that is the best possible routing already. So, after VRED, let's go... Well, after 510, let's go to 555. So, first of all, this over this. Execute, and then after 510 to 555. Is it going to calculate anything? No. Okay, I don't care. Execute. Not really supposed to do this, but hey. Doesn't even tell me which altitude it wants over Veret. But I can tell you that Nienburg, level 54, does not sound very correct. Seems to be something wrong with the descent predictions here. Well, what we're gonna do is this. Let's insert some descent winds, see what we are gonna get with that. So, level 200.
Whiskey, no further station available, monitor advisory, 122.8, Schifflug.
122.8, Lufthansa to Romeo Whiskey, ciao. Alright, here we go, 122.8. And, hey, if there is no further station, then we might as well take a shortcut, huh? Because currently there is no one there. So yeah, let's fly direct Veret. If it saves a little bit of time. So let's get back to those winds, 049 at 31. And tell you something else. Let's get that sun visor up, shall we? Or at least that's how it should work. Did I mess up some settings down here? Let's see. Oh, that's all the way it is supposed to be. Give me those sun visors, please. Here we go. That's quite fancy, isn't it? Now that's a proper sun visor. And look at that, we got a second one up there as well, which we can't even move. Oh yeah, this is how I would absolutely fly. I tell you that much. Yep. This is how this would go. Oh yeah. Look at that. I'm telling you 100% honestly, if we had that many sun visors in the real world, we would absolutely do this. Because it is so bright outside. Especially in the 737 cockpit, which is rather dark, where your eyes are, you know, getting used to the darkness when looking inside. Then you're looking outside and you're like, no, my eyes are hurting. So this is actually pretty realistic. I'm not sure what type of sun visors those are. Probably nothing official from Boeing, but yeah, if it doesn't cost too much to manufacture something like this, I definitely see us using those. I absolutely do. Beautiful. Now we've still not inserted the winds. So let's just quickly do this and go back to work. So 49 at 31. And then in level 100 we got 25 at 13. Like this, okay. QNH 1023. Or is that an invalid entry? The NG does absolutely not need that. So transition level with that QNH gotta be 60. And over here we're looking at Echo Delta Delta Whiskey. 25 miles for MSA awareness are already in there. That's wonderful. Okay. So Rockbow 3000. Runway elevation flight level 0. I don't think so, but I have an idea. Probably doesn't accept this as a flight level. What if I insert 060? No. Okay, that's a little bug. That should accept 60 as flight level 60. If we look at this now, yeah, now it's all correct. Okay, so be it. Another small bug down there. Okay, so lastly, Navigraph, Isla Zulu, runway 27. Then let's see, Verat 27 on off transition, and for the taxi charts we gotta take the airport and the parking stands. That's all looking good, isn't it? So Verat 510, and we include a shortcut there to 555, and then Rockbow 170 and 3000. So that's all looking good, and the Rockbow can get a 170 knot restriction there as well. Minimum 170. Okay, then we got the runway and the go around 2 miles, Bravo Mike November, and then a left-hand turn back to the station, climbing 3000. And we got 2 miles and back to the station 3000. That's all looking good. Okay, so far so easy. Then all that good stuff is in here. Let's see, top of descent in 9 miles. Yeah, that looks about fine. Recall is checked. What do we have in here? Course is 266. Set once and... Oh. What's going on? That must have been a bit quick. Here we go, 266 set twice. Minimum's 214. Like that, and that equals 200 feet radio, which is selected. And then MSA 2.1, frequencies 110.9. Which is also pre-selected. Okay, that's all looking fantastic. So let's see, we should need 66 miles, a little headwind, 60 miles. Top of descent is probably a little bit early, but I want to see what the VNAV is going to do, so let's just go ahead and dial that altitude down. Switch over to VNAV. Look at how it's still reducing. Speed. That's definitely not correct. Would that be the default econ speed by any chance? Oh well, now we're in descent mode. So we inserted 0.72 and 300. 0.72 would be somewhere here. So yeah, bug. Looks like for some reason it's always targeting the econ speeds. Or is it? No. That's not the econ speed either. What is it that it's targeting? If we just increase that again? Now it went down at 260. We're not supposed to be at 260 though. You're supposed to go quite the way faster. Okay, well, no comment. There's a bug involved somewhere there. There's definitely a bug involved somewhere. I don't care. Let's just, you know. Anything else we need to do? Yeah, Bremen NB 318. And that's the check altitude of 1280. So 3, 1, 9. So you're gonna go to ADF, and the same for you. And that's it then. Okay, good. all that lovely stuff is done, then let's go ahead and get started with the approach briefing, please. And we are just going to go all the way to 3. Oh, and there is one more. That's the flaps. Flaps 30 approach, 133. Which is here, and then we got 129 plus 70, that's 199, so those speeds here pretty much the same. 180, 160. That's it. And, well, let's set this to VREF plus 15. 133, 148, yeah, that's all looking good. Alright, lovely, everything done. So then, let's continue the descent to flight level 100, like that. And now let's say goodbye to our passengers. Liebe Fluggäste, aus dem Cockpit hier Kapitän mit einem kleinen Update. Wir haben bereits den Sinkflug in Richtung Bremen begonnen. Die verbleibende Flugzeit beträgt jetzt noch etwa 15 Minuten. Das Wetter in Bremen aktuell recht schön, klarer Himmel bei einer Temperatur von 10 Grad. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie heute Lufthansa für Ihren Flug gewählt haben, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und würden uns freuen, Sie bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Luftfahrzeuge willkommen zu heißen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit und wir wünschen Ihnen eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning again from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking with a quick update. We've started our descent towards Bremen with a remaining flight time of 15 minutes. The weather in Bremen is currently pretty nice, clear skies and a temperature of 10 degrees. Thank you for choosing Lufthansa for today's flight. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did and we look forward to welcoming you again on board of a future service. Thank you very much for your attention. We wish you a nice and safe onwards journey and look forward to see you again in the future. Okay, so we've dealt with these gentlemen, then let's have a look into our landing performance. We're going into Echo Delta Delta Whiskey. That's on the runway 27 and the wind 340 at 6, 81023. So 340 degrees at 6 knots, temperature 8, QNH 1023. That's all looking good. Where's the calculate button? Looks like there is none. Okay, engine anti-ice on. And fasten belts on. Okay, suppose that's gonna be good enough. Doesn't actually calculate anything, so be it. Okay, lovely. So let's go for the approach briefing. So radar vectors for an ILS approach runway 27, ILS Zulu, minimums 214, go around straight at 2.2 miles from Bremen VOR, left turn back to the station climbing 3000. Extra fuel on time, let's see, we got 3.7 on the approach and we are supposed to have 2.3, giving us approximately half an hour extra. Now for the approach, it's going to be flight director guidance, flaps 30, and we will be using maximum reverse. Actually tell you what, idle reverse, auto brake 3 to vacate the runway to the right hand side. And then we taxi straight to the apron. Stop margin is plenty and we've got nothing special or non-standard over here. Anything from your side? No? Alright. Then let's start cleaning up a bit. $1,000 to go is checked. How can I remove these? Can't actually see any way to. Huh. Interesting. Not sure if that's a bug or not. But anyway, we can see that's all that counts. So let's get down to 4,000 feet. And set QNH. So QNH 1023 is cross-check, passing 10,200 now. Checked. And then we can do the 10 checks right away as well. Fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on the lights. On angular bank 25, air conditioning and pressurization 3.2 descending, and set fast modes on, recall checked, and we are still monitoring 1 to 1.5 as per the VATSIM rules. Okay, that's it. Any questions? No? Beautiful. Okay, so descent checklist please. Pressurization. So, landing altitude 0, cabin altitude 0. Recall checked, auto brake 3, landing data, VREV 30, 133, minimums Barrow 214, approach briefing completed, descent checklist complete. Now look at that. We'll be level in 4,000 far too early, and we're still in VNAV path mode. I mean, I just want to see what the airplane is going to do, so I will definitely follow this. But let's do some calculations here. We're doing 1,600 feet a minute, which seems roughly correct for an idle path profile for a 737. The plane is, let's see, going to take about 3 minutes to the target altitude, 3 minutes at 260 knots, let's see, divided by 6, what's the nearest? Well, we're doing about 4 miles a minute, so we'll take 12 miles to reach the target altitude, so that level of aero does actually look quite okay. So yeah, VNAV is not really doing what it's supposed to do here. Let's do vertical speed 700. The problem we have approaching Bremen is that we only have very limited controlled airspace here. And basically, due to VNAV taking us in that low, we are already in an airspace where VFR traffic could be expected. Now, what is it doing? Would you give me my charts, please? Hello? What are you doing? Did it? Is that a bug? Look at that, VNAV hung it, SimBrief hung itself up as well. That must be a bug. Can we still request weather? Looks like it. Yeah, but look at how slow it is just to get a METAR. 1023 is still correct. Let's give it some time then. Look at that, even though I've reduced the radar descent from what it did in VNAV path, now getting below the profile. Oh boy. Okay, anyway. We gotta live with the situation that we're in. And the situation that we are in is that VNAV has taken us out of the Class Delta airspace around Bremen. We're now flying Class Echo, which means that VFR traffic is to be expected. And below 5,000 they do not need a transponder. So yeah, good look outside now. Now some airlines might have an SOP that you have to reduce the speed down to the minimum clean or something around that. For example, my former airline wanted a maximum of 220 knots in Class Echo airspace. Again, that's company SOP, there is no general speed limit. At least not above 250. So as long as we fly 250 knots or less, that is fine. Alright, so approach checklist, altimeters, QNH 1023, approach checklist complete. Then let's go down to 3000, which is from where the approach is going to start. And then we've done pretty much everything. I kind of like the look of the short 737. I mean, this is about the size of a 600. Good old regional airliner. At least before the time where the CRJs and Embraers, etc. became so popular. Not that the Jumbolino wouldn't have existed back then, but you get what I mean. I gotta say, I do quite enjoy flying these things. But just look at how large the engines seem for the short 737-500 fuselage. Interesting proportions, aren't they? Okay, so ILS mode is selected on the standby. Anti-ice on above 10. Oh yeah, let's switch that off. And engine anti-ice is off. By now the cabin should probably be secure already as well, so let's switch the no smoking sign on down there. Okay, then we're about 6 miles from the final approach fix. Let's start slowing down. Speed 220. Looks like there is a VFR guy down there, but almost at the ground, probably flying traffic patterns somewhere. Claim traffic, Lufthansa to Romeo Whiskey. It's 5 miles from Rockbow for the ILS Zulu 27. So, she is decelerating well. And let's go down to the clean speed, 200. Interestingly enough, it gives me the green dot 10 knots higher over here at 210. That's also going to work for me. Okay, so let's switch those ILSs active. And that looks correct. Here we go. Looking good. And approach arms. So, manual flight. Local odds are alive. Flaps 1. Speed checked. That's a landing gear warning, disregard that. Would be nice if we had a pilot monitoring who could set the runway track right now. Here we go. Glass top alive, flaps 5. Landing gear warning seems to come early in the 737 Classic. That is normal, nothing to be worried about. Where's the switch? There it is. Silence. Okay, glide stop capture. Bremen traffic, Lufthansa 2 Romeo Whiskey, 8 miles final, runway 27. Okay, I can't make the field out quite yet. I mean, I can tell what is probably the terminal building over there. So that's got to be the runway. Oh, we'll be fine. Okay, spoilers are armed. And then gear down, flaps 15. Okay, so 133, that means 138 will be the final approach speed. I will simplify the procedures a little bit here, because, well, we got to do the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring work at the same time. Okay, flaps 25. What's our ground speed? 160, so we should be catching the glide again. And flaps 30. Speed check, flaps 30. Landing checklist, engine start switches, continuous, speed brake armed, landing gear down 3 green, flaps 30, green light, landing checklist complete. Tracked, and we are completely stabilized. Nice. And the simulator is hanging. No longer, very good. Okay, nicely stabilized. Let's make this a good landing. A little fast right now. Correcting that. Man, I do notice that I'm mostly flying wide bodies on the channel these days. I'm not used to getting tossed around like this any longer. And summer hasn't even begun with all its turbulence. So, minimum, continue. Oh, keep the pitch. And here we are. Speed brake up. Thrust was normal, and of course someone rings the doorbell exactly upon touchdown. 60 knots. Manual brakes. Do you notice how the fire warning switch is moving a little bit there? Well, 40 minutes, 3 minutes ahead of schedule. Very nice. Very, very nice. Bremen, Lufthansa to Romeo Whiskey, runway 27 vacated, taxiing to the main apron, gate 3. Okay, and here we are. So there's no after landing checklist, it's a Boeing. So let's just get onto the straight line here to finish up our work. Here we go, weather radar is off, the rest is done. Lovely. Okay guys, so that was our first flight with version 1.9 in the CSS 737-500. Overall an enjoyable one. Couple things that they can of course still improve with the aircraft. I did point out the bugs where I saw them. Now let's see what's going on down here. Yeah, charts are still messed over. Anyway, I am sure that many of you are going to ask, would I recommend the aircraft in its present shape? And the answer is it depends. So they are going to lower the prices soon, once the 300 and the 400 are releasing, and for the lowered prices I would absolutely recommend it. For the current price for a lifetime license of $120 plus taxes, so we're looking at $150, that's probably a little bit too much. But if you want to try it out yourself, and that is something where I really hope that other developers are eventually going to follow, if you just want to try it out yourself, you can do that with a monthly subscription to the aircraft and just getting 1 month for $6 US. And that way you have an entire 30 days to try the airplane out and see if you like it. I do like that option. I really gotta emphasize, I do like that option. Just so that you can get an idea of how the airplane is yourself and then determine if it's worth purchasing via lifetime license for you personally or not. Alright then, we got another 2 gates to taxi over here, so we're gonna be parking here. That looks good. So the APU is available. Let's put her on the bus. Taxi lights are coming off. And here we go, there's gate number 3 right over here. Now that may be a little bit too early to disarm the doors. And stop. Okay. So, parking brake set, 2 blue, 1 red, engines dead. So yeah, the cabin crew already set disarm doors and cross-checked, and we don't have to do that ourselves, that's good. So, Squawk 2000 standby, and we got both engines below 20%. So that's set, that is set. You come on, right pack off, APU bleed on, and the collision light off. And here we are, shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps, we are gonna keep them on for the turnaround. Pitot heat off, hydraulic panel set. And flap submer light, parking brake set. Engine start levers cut off, weather radar off. And that's the shutdown checklist complete. Well, my friends, and with that, welcome to Bremen. I do hope you enjoyed the flight as much as I did. I most definitely had a blast once again. Looking forward to see you all again on the next one. In the meantime, as always, like, comment and subscribe. Tell me how you liked today's flight, and if you do have the 737-500, tell me how you like it. And with all of that said, I'm really looking forward to seeing you all again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below.